here on Cemetery Whispering channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I promise you won't fall asleep tonight.
Strange apartment. This happened quite recently, about a year or two ago. I was living with my parents in a 2-bedroom apartment at the time. I had always loved animals, but for some reason they didn't stay with me long. They either died or disappeared for unknown reasons. There were many times that an animal got sick, and in a deplorable condition, we gave it into good hands, and literally a week later the animal revived, became healthy and lived for many years. In the beginning, I blamed everything on my slovenliness and inability to take care of. But once I got my own dog, I looked at it from another angle. My dog was always looking at something, like he was seeing things we didn't see. Barking at something in the doorway and growling. I explained this to myself, that she could probably hear the neighbors behind the wall. One night I was asleep in my room, and I heard the wires from my laptop, which were scattered all over the apartment, start to move, which is usually what happens when someone's feet cling to them. And so I called my mom, but no one answered me. Then I called for my brother. The answer was someone's breathing, which didn't sound like human breathing. I thought my brother was playing a joke on me, so I yelled for him to stop. There was no response, so I decided to go in there and see who was messing around. When I went out into the hallway, I didn't see anybody. I went into my mother's room, she was asleep. I followed my brother to his room, and he was already dreaming for the 10th time. And that's when I felt uneasy. The dog, in turn, was howling in the room, which was not like him. After a while, I slept at home alone. I watched a movie and went to bed. No sooner had I turned off the lights everywhere and settled under the covers, than someone knocked on the bathroom door 3 times. Probably anyone knows exactly what a knock sounds like on every door in their apartment. I fell silent, there was a deathly silence. I began to reassure myself that I was imagining things, but then there were 3 more knocks on the front door. I jumped out of bed, picked up the phone, called my boyfriend, and started to explain to him what had happened. He told me not to panic and to calm down, reminding me that I had definitely locked the door when he left me that night. He advised me to go and look through the peephole. So I did, and I walked down the hall to the front door, turning on the lights as I went. When I got to the door, the lights in the whole apartment went out. I was stunned in shock. I could see through the peephole that the light was on the floor below. I started crying into the phone and begging the guy to come to me. He said he was on his way out. But no sooner had he finished that last sentence than my phone went off. There was no way it could have run out of power, as it had been on the charger all day. I pulled myself together and went to the storeroom for candles. I lit a candle, took it in my hand and went to my room and began to pray that it would stop. And then I heard footsteps in the apartment right down the hallway, slow at first, and then as if someone came running into my room and stopped beside me. And then I just started gagging with fear. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. That's when I heard the doorbell ring. I was very surprised, because I thought that if there was no light in the house, then the intercom shouldn't work either. No sooner had I run to the door than suddenly there was another knock at the front door. I froze, but then I heard my boyfriend's voice behind the door. With a sigh of relief, I opened the door. At the same moment, the lights went on in the whole apartment, and I heard the sound of the phone turning on in the room. The guy saw the lights turn on all over the apartment, too, and looked at my pale, whitewashed face. We sat in the kitchen all night. After that incident, the whole household started hearing someone walking around the apartment all the time. Dishes were breaking. Wires were flying through the air on their own. Relationships in the family became tense, we were always fighting. Soon we made the decision to move out of the apartment. We sold it and the new tenants moved in. Literally a month later, we got an early phone call from the tenants and tearfully asked if we had noticed anything unusual in the apartment. We shudderingly answered in the negative, and they told us that they had heard their infant daughter screaming and crying during the night. They ran into the room and there the child was hanging in the air, as if someone invisible was holding her by the throat. When the adults came in, the hand abruptly released its grip, and the girl fell to the floor and suffered a concussion. What that was, and how those people are now, I don't know. But I'm very glad we left that apartment in time.